What's going on, everybody? I am hoping everybody doing okay today. Hope the week been going all right. I hope all things are going good. This is a pop-up class, so I'm not gonna be here with you long, but I'm gonna give you time to hop on. Give y'all a little time to hop on. When you get here, say hello, give me a wave, a shout, something. Also, want to make certain that I am recording so that we can go back and we can replay this. And I should probably update the caption and say that I don't own the rights to any of the music that you hear. Um, but yeah, today we're gonna go ahead and get in the way, out the way. Got some proven strategies on things that you can do when you are stuck in the middle of situations that you are not able to control. Um, Sometimes we see these as helpless situations. Sometimes we see these as hopeless situations. Sometimes we just feel like we're up against the wall. Okay, and one of the things that I have observed most lately is that when people come to me with requests around things that they need help with, or they want to discuss, or they want to talk about or deal with, is usually around those types of situations. Things that are not in their control, that they are not able to immediately or directly change themselves. Things that you know might also be grief stricken or kind of heavy. And so it can be any number of those. And with the pandemic happening, I have gotten more and more calls for those things, whether it be like eviction or foreclosure or, relationship issues, all different kind of things. And essentially, it comes down to us looking at what we can control and putting our focus there and doing the best that we can based on what it is that we want to accomplish. A lot of times we have ideas in our mind around how we want things to be, how we have envisioned them, how we hope they come together and come to pass. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And so our ability to be able to accept all the things that we experience without resistance, without fighting them, and without um, not being able to acknowledge and accept them and find our way around navigating them. Um, Sometimes in get in our way. And so those are things that are super important. And so I'm gonna go over a few ways. And I say a few, but I really have like eight um, that help us do that. And all of them revolve around two things. The first is having a made up mind. And the second is around um, inserting creativity into your life, and being able to use creativity in ways that produce and create things um, beyond our original conception. And I say original conception because the more we engage in the creative process, the more our imagination expands what it is that we are able to do. Um, and sometimes when your reality is ugly and when it's bleak, you want creativity and imagination to be able to come in so that you can create a new reality. If the things that we create first begin in our minds, then there is a question of what it is we are focusing on in our mind that we are then producing outside of it. And so, imagination gives us an escape from reality. And so, the more that we are able to do that and do it more vividly, more intentionally, more purposefully, um, the clearer the things that we create become. And so, when things get real heavy, you know, the first thing is to acknowledge what is. What is in my reality? What's happening in my experience? What am I going through right now? And it's in acknowledging and naming what those things are that we find the clarity, number one, to move around what we're dealing with. But two, if it's something that is not in our control and that we cannot do anything with. If it's a situation that has now become a weight, the first thing we got to do once we have acknowledged, named, and accepted what that is to let it go. You know, especially when you know outcomes are inevitable. A lot of times we spend time trying to delay the inevitable. You know, our spirit may have already told us what the right thing to do is, and we just simply decided that that's not what we want to do. Um, those are the times that we need to see where the weight is carrying us, and if it's so heavy that we're not able to be free to fly, to keep moving, to navigate with ease, because weight keeps us from being able to do that. Because you got to drag and carry all of what you got with you. Um, then we got to figure out what's going to be helpful to the situation. What what is it? Is it going to gain me to continue to hold on to things that are weighing me down, and are not allowing me to live my best life, to be my best self, to continue to keep pushing? You know, and so that's when we got to make a decision and say, yeah, maybe it is time for me to let go. Number two is to deal with our emotions around how we feel around things. Purging our emotions are really important. And because we are in a go, go, go society, a lot of times it's hard for us to even acknowledge what our emotions are. You know, they kind of get, muddled up together on our insides. And so we have experiences where we feel them, but oftentimes don't process them. And because we continue to do that over and over and over again, we put ourselves in a position to experience overwhelm. And so when we acknowledge that that's the culture that we live in, then we also must acknowledge that we got to have intentional practices around being able to process and deal with our emotions in healthy ways. And so part of that is sitting down and surveying what's in my storehouse. What emotions have I experienced over the years, and in relationship to what type of situations? I may still have triggers related to. I may still have things that I need to be able to work through, that I may have responses to that are involuntary. And when we sit down and we start asking those questions, our body will respond to us. We will begin to hear the answers bubble up from inside of us. And so when we know we have unhealthy emotions wrapped around these weights that we've been carrying, these things that we've been dragging with us, from place to place, then we got to figure out how to let those emotions go as well. And so journaling is a good way to process them. I know for me, when I really want to let it go, not only will I write it down, but I'll write it down in the most detail that I can, only to get finished with it to burn it, because I have allowed the emotion to leave my body in the process of writing and to be transferred into this paper. And it exists there and it lives there. But once it's burned and it has been incinerated, to me, that represents the death of that energy that I just let go of. Um, and so that's a process of purging emotions. Not so that we can hold on to it and keep looking at it, but again, get that energy up out of you. Sometimes you need to exert physical energy to be able to help with that. But the purging of an emotion is not a one time thing. Oftentimes, there are things that we have to keep doing, just to ensure that we're handling the things that are coming our way, that we are experiencing. And so, um, people emote and they purge emotions different ways, you know, but we got to find ways to keep our spirits in good places. So sometimes, you may need to cry so you can get those emotions out, so you can get to feeling better in your spirit. Sometimes you may need to be around somebody else, so that you can share a different type of energy than what you have just resonating with you alone. I would suggest that you do try to get it together yourself first before you go and you start sharing that energy with other people. But community is helpful to us all, especially when we are in a place where we can't figure it out on our own. And so the key is to be able to find a healthy solution to be able to deal with your emotions. And that's whether you're doing it by yourself or whether or not you're going to involve someone else in your process. Number three is to, in terms of the third way that